Welcome back to John Dawson Disc Golf. Today I want to talk about something I didn't expect when I first started playing disc golf. I didn't come to this game looking for therapy. I just noticed that my mental health kept getting better the more I played. By the way, if you're new here, I'm John Dawson. I'm 52, I play almost every day, and I'm still trying to understand why this game has become such a big part of my life. And one of the things I've slowly realized is that disc golf does something to your mind that's hard to explain until you experience it yourself. On the surface, it looks like a simple activity. You walk through the woods and you throw a piece of plastic towards a metal basket. But somehow that combination of walking, throwing, and focusing on the next shot clears your head in a way that very few things do. What's fascinating is that the things mental health experts constantly recommend are exactly the things disc golf quietly forces you to do. They tell you to get outside, move your body, spend time in nature, breathe deeply, and step away from screens. You hear those suggestions all the time, but most of us struggle to build them into our daily lives. Disc golf does it automatically. The moment you show up to a course and throw a bag over your shoulder, you've already begun doing most of the things psychologists recommend for mental health. For me, one of the biggest elements is simply the act of walking. My wife and I have walked more than 10,000 steps a day for over a decade. It's become a rhythm in our lives. Disc golf takes that same habit and gives it a purpose. Instead of walking for the sake of walking, you're moving through a course one throw at a time. You walk to the tee, you throw the disc, you walk to where it landed, you think about the next shot, and then you repeat the process. And that rhythm is incredibly calming. It gives your mind just enough structure to stay engaged, but not so much pressure that it becomes stressful. The environment. It also plays a huge role. Most disc golf courses are woven through forests and hillsides and public parks. When you're playing, you're surrounded by trees, open sky, and uneven terrain. You hear birds instead of traffic. You feel wind instead of fluorescent lighting. Sometimes you're climbing a hill to reach the next tee pad. Other times you're standing on the edge of a ravine trying to picture the flight of your next shot. Sunlight filters through the trees in a way that slows everything down. It's remarkably difficult to feel overwhelmed while standing quietly in the middle of a forest holding a disc. But the therapy isn't only in the walking or the scenery. It's also in the act of throwing itself. A good disc golf throw requires your entire body to work together. You coil your torso, you shift your weight, and release the disc with timing and precision. When everything lines up, the disc leaves your hand and glides through the air exactly the way you imagined it. That moment is incredibly satisfying. And when you're preparing to throw, your brain has to focus on the details of the shot, the angle, the line, the timing, the power. And for those few seconds, whatever stress you brought with you simply fades away. Your attention narrows to that single act of throwing. Disc golf also creates a surprising kind of mindfulness. Think about standing over a 25-foot putt in the woods. The basket is right in front of you, but there are trees framing the line and maybe a slope behind the target. You know the putt is makeable, but it's not automatic. In that moment, everything else disappears. You focus on your stance, your grip, your breathing, and the chains of the basket. And when the putter leaves your hand, you're completely present in that instant. No email notifications, no headlines, no deadlines, just the arc of the disc traveling towards the target. That kind of presence is rare in modern life, yet disc golf produces it naturally. Well, there's also something restorative about being alone in nature while doing something playful. When I was younger, I chased that feeling through backpacking trips and wilderness expeditions. I've spent long stretches hiking trails like the Appalachian Trail and sleeping outdoors in rough conditions. Those experiences gave me a deep sense of being connected to the natural world. Disc golf taps into that same feeling in a much smaller dose. You don't need to take a week off of work or carry a heavy pack. You can experience a piece of that wilderness mindset in the span of an afternoon round. Another element that makes disc golf feel therapeutic is the emotional rhythm of the game itself. Every round contains moments of success and failure. You throw a beautiful shot and feel a surge of quiet satisfaction. A few holes later, you ricochet off a tree and find yourself crawling into a bush to retrieve your disc. Somehow, both moments become part of the experience. The game constantly reminds you that mistakes are temporary. There's always another throw, another chance to recover, another hole waiting ahead. And over time, that rhythm teaches patience. It teaches you to let go of frustration and simply keep playing the round. I've also noticed the therapeutic side of the game in the people you meet on the course. You encounter players from all kinds of backgrounds. Some are there after work to decompress. Some are there to treat the course as their quiet place to think. And then others play with family members as a way to reconnect. There are veterans who say the woods feel like a safe zone, and young players who found confidence through the game. Disc golf creates a space where people can slow down, move their bodies, and spend time outside without needing to explain why it matters. Somewhere along the way, the game became more than a hobby for me. It turned into a daily rhythm that helps reset my mind. And when I arrived at the course, my thoughts might be scattered and noisy, but by the time I finish the round, something has settled. The noise fades, the priorities feel clearer. I might not have solved every problem in my life, but I usually leave the course feeling lighter than when I arrived. And that might be the most powerful part of disc golf. The game quietly takes care of your mind while you're playing it. No appointment required, no therapy bill waiting afterward, just a walk through the woods and a series of throws that slowly bring your attention back to the present moment. So if you've ever wondered why people become so attached to this sport, this might be part of the answer. It isn't just about scoring birdies or improving your form. It's about the way the game resets your mind while you're out there playing. Sometimes the best therapy isn't sitting on a couch talking about your problems. Sometimes it's standing on a tee pad, taking a deep breath, and watching a piece of plastic guide quietly through the trees. Thanks for being here. And by the way, if this resonates with you, I'd love to hear what you've noticed in your own game. And if these conversations are meaningful to you, consider scribing. I'm exploring these questions in real time, and I would be glad to have you along for the journey. As always, thank you for tuning in to John Dawson Disc Golf.